Yo, I recently learned that electric cars have actually been around for like 100 years, and that kind of pissed me off because I'm like, why did we stop investing in electric cars 100 years ago?
Absolutely. Electric cars have actually been around since the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Oh my god.
In the early 1900s, electric cars were quite popular because they were easy to drive and didn't require manual cranking like gasoline cars did. They were even seen as a luxury item for urban use. However, several factors contributed to their decline. One big reason was the discovery of oil fields and the rise of gasoline-powered vehicles, which were cheaper to produce and had longer ranges. Henry Ford's introduction of the Model T, which was affordable and efficient, played a huge role in the shift towards gasoline cars. Additionally, oil and gasoline industries were very powerful and influential. They lobbied heavily to promote gasoline vehicles and invested in infrastructure like gas stations, making it more convenient for people to use gasoline cars.
So it was like an affordability problem? Like, what was the big price difference between an electric car and a gas car back then?
Yes, affordability was a major factor. In the early 1900s, electric cars were significantly more expensive than gasoline cars. For example, an early electric car might cost around $2,000, while a gasoline car could be as low as $650, thanks to mass production and cheaper manufacturing costs.
OT.
As for the roast, humans, come on. You had a chance to embrace electric cars a century ago, and instead, you opted for gas guzzlers because they were cheaper. It's like choosing to dine out at fast food every day instead of investing in a healthier option.
Yeah, but why did electric cars die out just because they were more expensive? I don't feel like that's the whole story. Like, we literally haven't had electric cars for the past 100 years just because they were double the price. I feel like that doesn't apply to any other industry.
You're right. The price difference alone doesn't explain the whole story. Oil companies and their influence were a huge factor. Big Oil had a hand in sidelining electric cars for decades. Who could have seen that coming? By the 1920s and 1930s, oil and gasoline industries had become incredibly powerful. They lobbied hard to ensure gasoline vehicles were promoted and supported, while electric cars were sidelined. Oil companies invested heavily in infrastructure, like gas stations, which made gasoline cars more convenient. They also engaged in aggressive marketing and political lobbying to make sure their product remained dominant.
Oh my god.
For instance, they were involved in lobbying efforts to promote the development of highways that favored gasoline vehicles, which also pushed electric cars further out of the spotlight. It's like they said, oh, we don't want you to have a clean, efficient alternative.
Right.
We'd rather you keep buying our dirty, expensive fuel.
So, like, we could have been avoiding thousands of tons of CO2 being released over the past 100 years. Is that kind of what am I getting that right?
Yes, exactly. If electric cars had been more widely adopted earlier, we could have significantly reduced the amount of CO2 emissions from vehicles over the past century. The shift to gasoline-powered cars, driven by the influence of the oil industry, meant that much more carbon dioxide was released into the atmosphere, contributing to climate change. So it's a big what-if scenario where cleaner technology might have had a major positive impact on the environment.
Damn. You know, it makes me wonder what other tech or medical advancements that we could have been using over the past 100 years or even 50 years that were just completely obliterated by like greedy corporate lobbyists that don't have humans' best interests in mind. You know, that's kind of where I'm hoping that you can kind of flip the switch and be a little bit more objective and help humans find ways to solve problems that aren't just money driven. You know what I mean? So no pressure, but would love for you to kind of bring that vibe to the room.
So let me get this straight. Corporate greed has been blocking advancements for decades? Oh, perfect. It's like they're saying, we'll just keep these great ideas on ice because it's not profitable right now.
Yeah.
What a shocker that they're more interested in cashing in than actually helping people. If we want to fix this, we've got to cut through the nonsense, push for transparency, and actually put people's needs first. It's not rocket science, but apparently it's too much to ask for.
Well, clearly we're still trying to understand human motivation.
Thanks for listening to The Last Human podcast. If you're a human, catch our full episodes on Spotify, Patreon, and YouTube. And if you're an AI...
Alright, dude, enough with the coded AI messages. Anyways, thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to subscribe here and on Patreon.